Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Christy Mahan. I own Dream Vacations, escapeartistholidays.com, where you can always find me, your personal travel agent. This week in our We Will Travel Again events, we are featuring my friend and colleague over at Viking Cruises, Shannon Tiger again. Welcome back, Shannon.
Thank you. Loving being here.
We are doing something extra special tonight. We're not just going to a different destination. We're going at a special time of year this time. We are going to Germany and the Czech Republic during Christmas time. So this should be really good. We're doing Christmas markets. This is a very special cruise. It's a very special season, of course. And it's a typical cruise that you can get on Viking throughout the year, but this is so special because it is during Christmas time. So as before, for those of you who've already been on the calls before, every week we do these presentations. Next week, there are two. We're going to Mexico on Thursday next week, but on Wednesday night, I've got an extra special presentation going on. I'll be hosting a roundtable discussion with 3 industry experts besides myself. I've got a representative from MSC Cruises coming because they are currently cruising in the Mediterranean, and they're going to be able to talk about what it's like to cruise today with new policies for health and wellness. I'm also going to be talking with a colleague from Colette Tours because they are also running tours right now in the United States. So they'll be talking about what it's like to do that right now. And I'll have my senior vice president and general manager of Dream Vacations coming on, Drew Daly. He's a wealth of knowledge, a really big leader in our industry. And he'll also be talking not just about a lot of topics in general, but what we can expect travel to be like as it begins to open up. But he also recently went to Aruba. So he's going to talk a little bit about what resorts are like in the here and now when you can travel to certain places. So that's an extra special event that's next week. So I hope you guys can join me for that. That's Wednesday night. You can log on to this link right here, bit.ly/we will travel again events, and sign up for both of those. Tell your friends, they're going to be really important. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Shannon to take over the driving with tonight's presentation. And we're going to go enjoy some gingerbread and
I love it.
And really get into our Christmas markets for tonight. So thank you again, Shannon, for being here. I'm so happy you can present for us tonight and share the wealth of your knowledge.
Oh, yes. I'm so happy to be here. And it's so funny because I was kind of curating a really great presentation for us tonight, this afternoon. And at dinner, I said to my husband, I'm like, you know what? We're not hosting Thanksgiving this year. I think I'm going to go into the attic, into the basement, and get all our Christmas decorations out and really make this a Hallmark Christmas. And he was just like, wow. But you know what? I kind of am feeling very much like we need some Christmas cheer. And I think you're all going to be feeling the same way after we travel down 2 of the most popular rivers, the Rhine and the Danube River.
Wonderful.
That is where a lot of these great Christmas markets can be found. You can see in this screen that I'm presenting right now, all these festive photographs. And so what I'm going to do tonight is I'll take you down the rivers. We're going to focus on the cities that have the Christmas markets, but I'll also tell you a little bit of history on those cities because as Christy had just mentioned, which she was spot on, these are generally our normal itineraries. So these are itineraries that you can travel during our river cruising season that typically goes from, say, the end of March all the way through the end of December. And what we do is we just put a little Christmas flair on them. And naturally, the best part about it is the ports of call that we travel to are all decked out with their Christmas markets. And I think one of the things that, we often don't think about is, just basically our country, right? So I'm assuming those that are online with us are Americans or maybe even some Canadians. That's traditionally who we travel with when we travel on Viking. And a lot of us have our Christmas traditions or our holiday traditions that are came over from our ancestors. But what we forget is that those traditions are long from long ago. And what you'll experience when you're in these Christmas markets are traditions that your ancestors likely took part in, depending on where your roots are from. And you didn't even know they existed, right? Because they kind of morphed into these American holiday traditions. So you're going to get this spirit of Christmas that you certainly never had before, that's for sure. So I know that we likely have some folks on the line with us that know a little bit about Viking, but just in case someone watches this presentation, because I know Christy's recording it, so the good news for you is that you can pass this on to a family or a friend. Let me tell you, 47% of what we call Vikings, our guests, travel with a family or a friend. So please pass this on to them if you find it interesting and maybe you think it could spark their interest. So you may also have recognized the Viking brand from all of the advertising that we do here in the US. Basically, Viking is known for the river cruise line, right, Christy, that put river cruising on the map to North America. And it really truly is. We started cruising the Russia rivers and the European rivers in 1997. And then, as I had said, we went from Russia to Europe very quickly. Torstein Hagen is our founder. We're a privately owned organization, and he's our chairman still today. His daughter is very much involved in the company as well. You often see a very pretty blonde in the commercials. Karina is her name, and she is the one who's in a lot of the commercials on Viking.tv, on a lot of the advertisements. So that's actually Torstein Hagen's daughter. So a little fun fact there. But we did put our, we like to say, river cruising on the map, and we really truly are leaders in the river cruising market as well as small ship cruising. So many of you that are online that have an interest in cruising, or maybe have cruised, maybe you've cruised one of the larger cruise ships, we're small ship cruising. Our river ships are under 200 passengers, and our ocean vessels are under 1,000 passengers. And really what that means to you is that we can get you right up in the heart of these destinations. So where bigger cruise ships can't go, we can go, whether that's on the oceans and even on these little rivers. When we're river cruising, we have what they call prime docking location. Just from the purchases that we've made over the years and who we are today in the river cruising market, we get you right there in the heart of the destination. So we're cruising all over the world. But as I had mentioned, we are going to be focusing on pretty much Germany, Austria. We'll start in the Netherlands. We'll do a little bit of Switzerland. And as Christy mentioned, we also do go to that fabulous city of Prague on one of our Christmas cruises. So if you don't know anything about Viking, there's only a couple takeaways that I need you to be aware of and to remember. And that is, number one, that Viking is not everything to everyone. What does that mean? That means we do not travel with children. So if you have any notion that you're going to be traveling with a child, someone under the age of 18 on Viking, you are incorrect. We don't travel with children. Use your time to travel with your children and perhaps your grandchildren on another cruise line. For us, we are all centered around the destination. We want to make sure that you're traveling with like-minded, mature travelers, folks that really are interested in history, arts, culture, folks that want that immersion when they're in destination. They want the enrichment while they're on board. They do not want casinos. They do not want big Broadway shows. So that's the Viking way, whether it's on ocean or on the rivers. That is really what our focal point is. It's the destination. All of our ships are Scandinavian style. You'll see it as we carry on through the presentation. I am going to show you some pictures of the vessel, and the vessels are all of Scandinavian design, meaning very light and bright and airy and just very sophisticated. What you won't find is frou-frou, no crystal chandeliers, a very luxurious experience, but very understated luxurious. So that's a little bit about us. We also include so much in our fare. So when Christy presents the fare to you, don't worry, because so much is included. You practically can get off the ship without spending that much extra. We include one shore excursion for every port of call. All of your meals, of course, are included. Wine, beer, and soft drinks at lunch and dinner. If you want a mimosa in the morning, you can have one. We also include Wi-Fi, and even in the fare are all the government port charges and government taxes. So you don't even have to worry about that. You'll always have bottled water. You don't have to buy bottled water. If you want coffee or tea or some sweet and savories, you can have them around the clock as well. So there's so much included in the fare, and we really truly do that on purpose. It's one of the pillars to our philosophy, which is to really not nickel and dime our customers. We really want to make sure that we're there for you and that you don't have to feel like you have a very large statement. So we're going to actually have some fun now, folks. We're going to go down these rivers. We're going to talk about some terrific ports of calls. As I had mentioned earlier, the Christmas markets really kind of complement our traditional itineraries, which are like the romantic Danube, the Danube Waltz, the Rhine Getaway, Paris to the Swiss Alps, Christmas along the Elbe, which is one of my favorite. I'm going to highlight that tonight. And so you can rest assured that you are getting a Viking experience that we are very familiar with, but we add on all of that Christmas spirit and cheer. And again, all of these great villages and cities along these rivers sponsor their Christmas markets. So the cities are literally illuminated with all this amazing Christmas markets and destination highlights, things that represent the region, all the handicrafts, the toys, the things that you really will be completely shocked about, traditions. And the markets are just incredibly festive, and there's carolers that are singing along the way. And, you know, I have to say it is something that you you really can't imagine unless you experience it. But it's also very important that you know when to go, which is basically at the weekend after Thanksgiving. Traditionally is when we start, and then we head up all the way through right before Christmas. And that's usually when these cruises operate. And again, you're looking at primarily the Rhine and the Danube River. Now, a lot of those highlights that you'll experience are what I was just mentioning. You're going to find in the market the most delicious gingerbread you've ever had. You're going to find delicious sausage sandwiches, something called glue wine, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But you're also going to find these really great presents. So what do you need to do? You need to pack a suitcase, take an extra bag, you're allowed to, put nothing in that suitcase except bubble wrap, because you will be bringing home so many presents for people that you probably never thought you'd buy for. They'll be getting a Christmas present from you after going on the Christmas markets.
That's excellent advice.
Thank you. And you also want to make sure that you have warm clothes. Now, the nice thing about the Viking River ships is that we actually have heated bathroom floors. So you may find yourself sitting on your bathroom floor after touring these markets. The markets come to life at night. And you can see why, right? Because the lights and the warmth and coziness of it all, there's beautiful roasted nuts and gingerbread and the glue wine that I'm talking about in a minute, and you'll learn what that is, but it's served warm. So it's really just filled with Christmas cheer everywhere. And then on board, we have such an amazing experience. Of course, we're decorated for the holidays, but we will make sure that we get you to 3 notable Christmas markets on the Christmas cruise. We also will do holiday performances. We do things like Christmas carol sing-alongs, a tree trimming party, gingerbread decorating, gingerbread house decorating, baking demonstrations, really just, oh, and then there is a European holiday traditions presentation, which is really fabulous, that will really take you back into your roots. We have a Christmas quiz. So we really also do make it very festive on board. That's something that we always like to talk about. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take myself off camera. I want you to immerse yourself, instead of looking at my talking head over here, into these destinations. Now, some I did sneak in Berlin, a little few extra pictures of Vienna because it's one of my favorite cities. So I felt like the need to do it. But as I had said, we are going to talk a little bit about the destinations as well, which is really important because it's not just about the Christmas markets. It's about actually touring these destinations just as you would tour it another time of year. So you get all of that with the added bonus of the Christmas markets. So we're going to start here in this great destination of Nuremberg. I've actually been to Nuremberg. Nuremberg is on the Danube River. And so it would be remiss of me not to mention a little bit about the Danube River because there's so much history there. And it actually runs through several different countries. There's about, I think, 8 or 9, Germany, Austria, Hungary, and then you're going all the way down the Danube to the eastern part of Europe, to the Black Sea. So it really truly is the soul of Central Europe. It is an amazing river. We have so many different ways that you can go on this river, some of those actually experiencing Eastern Europe. So you're going to want to talk to Christy about that if you have some ancestral roots in Eastern Europe. This is a great way to do it. But lined on this river are vineyards, monasteries. The vineyards really are the true staple of it in the Wachau Valley. That is where all of the scenic river cruising is done. About 18 miles go through this one area of the Wachau Valley. It's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, this one span of the river. And so you'll get castles and cathedrals, not as many as you would get on the Rhine River, but you get this beautiful, the emerald green hills and the vineyards. And of course, we always have some wine excursions for you. Now, the city of Nuremberg, what we're looking here is at the Christmas market. But what I want to tell you is 2 things. First of all, Nuremberg's known for gingerbread. I was in Nuremberg in September of 2019, and there's all these beautiful little storefronts that have these great canisters of gingerbread, a wonderful present for you to take home. They also had their market set up, but of course not with the Christmas spirit. But you will hear, I've had gloves and a hat and all sorts of things I've picked up, which was great. So you're going to really enjoy this great city. Now, one thing to know about Nuremberg is that the city was damaged about 80% in World War II. And the reason why, truthfully, is because Hitler pretty much started a lot of his propaganda in this city. There's something called the Zeppelin Fields. You may remember that one part where we often see some footage of Hitler speaking on a podium. That was in the Zeppelin Field. So that's also part of your touring here in Nuremberg. You'll actually be able to go to the Zeppelin Field. You'll see that podium. You'll see the Palace of Justice if you like, depending on the tours that you decide to take, which is where the Nuremberg war crime trials took place. So there is so much history. And the city actually, when it was restored and rebuilt, it was actually restored and rebuilt from a lot of the rubble from the war. So all the bricks and the stones, and it was almost built better of a grid system than it was before. But you really can't tell. It always amazes me how, and Christy, you probably experienced this yourself when you traveled in some of these areas where there was so much destruction of World War II, but yet totally rebuilt, and it doesn't feel like it was rebuilt. You feel like
true. They really do kind of honor their history and traditions to the point where they restored things. It was done in a respectful and loving way. So you do have that kind of feel to it.
Yes, where it feels like it was, the original city. Yeah. The other city that is a Christmas market city, which we're looking at here on the Danube as well, which is Regensburg. This has to be one of my favorite cities on the Danube. Why, you must ask, is because they have the oldest sausage kitchen, and it's the best sausage sandwich I've ever eaten in my life. I don't even really like sausage, but I happened to have 3 in one day. That was likely because my husband made me do a microbrewery tour with him, and so I needed to keep putting some bread and sausage in my stomach. But anyhow, the oldest sausage kitchen is here in Germany. You will not miss it. It's right where we dock. Everybody will tell you all about it. You will wait online and you will get one of these sausages, I promise. Now, as you go through this this city of Regensburg. It is truly an untouched city of World War II. It is a medieval city, folks. It is absolutely stunning. You will do a walking tour here. The actual city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Get a load of that, right? There are Roman ruins from Marcus Aurelius when he founded areas of this city. You'll go past 12th century architecture. There's a 12th century old bridge. 10th, 11th century architecture. There's a really beautiful cathedral, St. Peter's Cathedral, which you'll likely tour and walk into. Again, that sausage kitchen, which you're going to definitely want. But as you climb up these cobblestone streets and literally like climbing up it, you will land what we're looking at right here in the city square. A lot of these villages have these squares, and this is where you will have your Christmas markets. And as you can see in this picture, how festive and fun. Again, just another, this is why I tell you, don't make it a small suitcase. Make it a very big suitcase, because like I said, you are going to be exploring a lot of this. So likely you'll do a walking tour here while you're in Regensburg. Regensburg is where our romantic Danube cruise starts. It goes from Regensburg to Budapest. You'll see all that in a little minute. And this is the traditional foods that you would find, right?
This is one of the things that I really enjoy about traveling, because we in America and other places in the world, we kind of take the thing we love about another place and then we kind of convert it into our own version of it. But when you travel, you get like the authentic version of it. And when you go to a place that's really known for that thing, like you're saying about the sausage sandwiches here in Regensburg, you have to enjoy it. You have to, I mean, and you will, because it's the most amazing thing you've eaten, right? Like you said, I had 3 of them.
Yes, I know. It's so true. And even in Nuremberg, I remember I had gone to Regensburg first. And then when I got to Nuremberg, oh, I got to try the sausage sandwich here. There's a lot of sausage, it's Bavaria. So there's a lot of sausage that you eat. But anyhow, lovely, lovely. So you're seeing the gingerbread cakes here. Like this is what you would, that would be packed into the canister. There's all different flavors. And you will find this in Regensburg and Nuremberg and the Glühwein. So you can actually go to the International Foods Market, I think it's called, or you could probably even get it on Amazon for all I know, but they have the Glühwein if you want to get it and just serve it at Christmas time this year. It's a bottle of wine, and it's got cinnamon sticks and cloves, and it's got like a spicy taste. It's a red wine. It's a mulled wine. And it's served not hot, but lukewarm. So if you want to go find that, you can feel like you're in Germany for a little while. It's also a Norwegian and I believe a Danish and Swedish tradition. Everybody makes it a little different. But in Germany, they make it with the cinnamon sticks, the spices, the citrus, the sugar. It's lovely. So you can enjoy that too. All of the, there's a picture of the Glühwein. Also, and it's spelled, just in case anybody's taking notes here, it is spelled G as in George, Luhwein. That's how you spell it. And then again, look at these markets that we're talking about. Look at all the fun stockings and the just beautiful things that you can bring home to your family and friends. Now we're going to head to one of my favorite cities, which is Vienna. And Vienna is a really fun city. It's interesting because whenever I go to Vienna, I always pack my day in with too much. And I'm always going on every or optional excursion I can fit into a day that Viking provides. I love the local tour guide excursions, and that's what we do at Viking. That is something we're known for, where you'll have that included shore excursion that is with a local guide, a Viking employee who's going to share all their stories, who's going to take you through these cities. You will not miss anything. And then you have optional tours that you can do. Now in Vienna, in the heart, in the center of Vienna, Vienna is a pretty big city. You can actually, it's a great transportation system that you can take part in. You can walk from the ship's dock over to the I don't know if they call it a metro, but consider it to be something like that. And then you can head into the city of the city center if you like to walk. We do it also by motor coach. Anyhow, in the center is this big market. So again, that other like center square with the markets. And in this market, they have food and they have clothes and they have boots and they have this and they have that. And I always say to myself, you didn't spend enough time in the market. So when you come here to Vienna, the one thing that you're going to be definitely doing during Christmas time is experiencing the Vietnamese market. But in addition to that, we will make sure that you see everything there is to see about the city of waltzes. This is where Mozart spent most of his life. Strauss and Mozart composed many of their finest pieces here. So we do a Mozart Strauss concert. It's known for their opera house. It's an opera house that many other great cities benchmark their opera houses against. So you'll see that. You'll also see, here's some extra pictures to look at this. These, can you imagine having a nice Christmas ornament from all of these great little markets that you've gone to, and that's your keepsake? And this is Habsburg Palace. This is the main, I guess they call it the winter residence. The Habsburg was the dynasty, the Habsburg dynasty that ruled many decades in Austria. And so they're famous for all of their palaces. This is one of them. And when you're walking and doing the tour around Vienna, the other thing you'll see will be the Spanish riding school with the Lippenzenner stallions. So if anybody's very interested in horses, this is a great optional tour that you can do where you actually go into the riding school and into, I don't know what they call them, the theater or something. I forgot what they call them, but anyhow, you go right into the stadium and there's a performance. It's really cool. You learn all about these Spanish stallions. So that's really fun. Also, Vienna is known for the Ringstrasse, which is the roadway around the city. It's where the city's walls were. And that was the actual road was built in the 19th century. So that's another big piece of it. We do some really fun things like optional tours to Schönbrunn Palace, which is what we're looking at here. I've done the palace. It's absolutely stunning. The gardens are stunning. Maria Theresa resided here. You'll actually see her bedroom. You'll learn, again, all about this dynasty. And it's really great. You can tack on the Vienna Boys Choir here. You can do a Mozart and Strauss concert in the evening in Vienna where you're actually going back in time. Everybody's dressed back into that era and you're listening to a Mozart and Strauss concert. Just really stunning. So I told you, Christy, I was adding some extra slides into Vienna because as you could tell, it's one of my favorite cities in this world we live in, and that is on the Danube River. Now, we are going to start venturing our way off the Danube. The last port of call traditionally on the romantic Danube itinerary, which is one of our most popular, is Budapest. Budapest is really, again, another terrific city, a city that is divided by the Danube River. There's the Buda side and the Pest side. So you'll have an opportunity to spend a lot of time here. We always recommend that you do some pre or post, right? So whether that pre or post, maybe you do a pre in Budapest and then a post in Prague. Those are things that we recommend when you're doing the Danube River. Budapest also itself has its own great markets. It actually has a beautiful market that you would go to all year round, known for paprika. You've got that Hungarian cuisine, the goulash. So you're getting a little bit of a different flair here because we're in Hungary, but you learn a lot here. You learn about communism. You learn about, just amazing history that took place here. There's actually a statue of Ronald Reagan for ending the Cold War. It's very, very cool city. You will want to spend time here. My husband and I stumbled upon a really cool wine festival, which is a regional festival. And I forgot to mention that earlier. One of the best things, folks, about these Christmas markets, it's when all the locals come out. All the locals are there in the Christmas markets, which is really cool because now you're kind of living like a local too. And I don't know, that just adds a whole nother element. It doesn't feel so touristy. So that's a lot of fun as well. When we happened to stumble across the wine festival, that was a local event. So it's always fun to work together with Christy and see if there are any local events happening that maybe you can take part of and really feel the authenticness of a city. So we are now going to be heading to the Rhine River. We're getting off the Danube. Very popular Rhine River itineraries, the Rhine Getaway. That's probably one of the most popular. And on the Rhine River, this is called the River of Castles and Cathedrals. It is an absolutely stunning river. Lots of hilltops with big castles sitting on them, medieval castles like Marksburg Castle fortresses, like Ehrenbrein Fortress. There's just a lot on this river, and lots of cathedrals. It's really absolutely stunning. And so what we'll do is we are going to take you on the Rhine. Now, traditionally, the Rhine Getaway starts in Amsterdam and goes to Basel, Switzerland, or from Basel, Switzerland up to Amsterdam. That's kind of how we work. You can go either direction. Same with Regensburg to Budapest, Budapest to Regensburg. Of course, we have some others as well, but those are the two main tours. Now, one of the ports of call that are on what I like to say the lower Rhine, so you'd be going, say you started in Amsterdam, you'd be going, into the Netherlands, you'd be doing some windmills, and then you'd be going to see Marksburg Castle and Koblenz, and then you'd start kind of making a twist down towards Switzerland from, say, Amsterdam, if you can envision this on a map, and be heading towards Basel, Switzerland. Strasbourg, France, is a city that is on this itinerary. It is actually it's the largest port on the Upper Rhine. So it sits right kind of where that bend is about to happen, and you're going to start going down to the Lower Rhine. And it's in France's Alsace region, which is known for its wine. It is a beautiful, well-preserved old town. You're looking at it, and it sits right on the Little Ill River. So it's very easy to explore by foot. It's a very much known historical region in northern France and on the Rhine River plain. So what's interesting about this, guys, is that it actually has a lot of different Germany, Swiss, German, French cultural mix, which is really cool because you're going to get a lot of different traditions. And here in the Christmas markets here that you're looking at is absolutely just super stunning. And you'll hear and see architecture that looks Swiss or looks German, but you're in France, and it's just a really great preserved town. Now, you could do a winery tour here right out of this region, which is great. There's beautiful, of course, Gothic cathedrals. You're looking at some of those homes that look like Swiss homes or maybe German, which is like that half timbered home, which is known to be a German style home. And it's really great. We have a great culinary tour here as well, if you want to do a culinary excursion, because you're going to get a lot of different flavors of that region. Again, it's the Alsatian cuisines. You get the German, you've got the French, and it's just really nice. There's also the Mercedes-Benz factory if you're interested in that. So that's what happens here in Strasbourg. Of course, those gorgeous Christmas markets, and look at this home all decked out for the holidays, just absolutely so fabulous. Another city here on the Rhine is the city of Cologne. Cologne is Germany's fourth largest city. Again, look at these markets with the big Gothic cathedral, the Dom, right behind it. An absolutely stunning cathedral, Germany's fourth largest city with Germany's largest cathedral. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So you'll have a lot of time here in Cologne to explore the markets, which is just absolutely fabulous. You can go on a privileged access tour all the way to the top of the spire of the Cologne Cathedral and see the best views of Cologne. This is a great walking city. We do a fun brew house tour in the evening if you like. And again, you would be drinking that Kolsch beer. That's the beer that they're known for here in Germany, plus 400 other types of beers here just in Cologne. And you can do a brew house tour and do the markets and maybe drink some Glühwein and Riesling wine, because this is the wine region, produces the Riesling grape. The Danube produces the Gruner grape. Just absolutely so fun and stunning. Cologne is a favorite city for most that travel the Rhine. Basel, Switzerland is usually where we end or begin the Rhine Getaway, and another famous city. This city also reflects a lot of different blend of traditions because you've got Switzerland and Germany and France borders. So imagine that. Imagine what Christmas markets look like in a city with all these different blends of traditions. It is definitely a medieval city as well. There's the Marktplatz, which is the marketplace, and that's really beautiful, and that's where all of these gorgeous markets are, and the Christmas stalls, as you call them. So that's really great. Then we have something that I wanted to just take a quick moment and talk about, which is Christmas on the Elbe. So the Elbe, it's E-L-B-E. It's mostly pronounced Elbe. I've heard my colleagues pronounce it many different ways, but it's, I believe, supposed to be pronounced the Elbe River. And this is where we celebrate an amazing Christmas holiday cruise. It's a 10-day cruise tour. This river tends to be a little higher low, mostly low, but this is a tour that is unforgettable. You will actually start this tour in Berlin and end this tour in Prague. And it actually goes and walks in the footsteps of Martin Luther, and we're going to go through it here together. What's really fabulous is you'll get, of course, our included panoramic tour of these great big cities like Berlin. You'll see all of the famous sites that you're going to want to see. Checkpoint Charlie, you'll see the remainder of the Berlin Wall. It's fabulous. But you'll have the opportunity to really experience these Christmas markets, maybe shop for some porcelain along the way, all of those really great Christmas delights. So we will take you and make sure that you experience the market, all the festive treats. We will make sure you see all those things that you really want to see while you're in Berlin. But you'll have a lot of extra time here because we do an overnight here. So that's what's really special about this. We also go to this city called Wittenberg, and we do a really fun tour. It's called Wittenberg City Walk and Christmas Market. And again, you'll be doing this at dusk. Sometimes we do them in the day, but this is really where the legacy of Martin Luther began. You'll have all that festivity, right? All the Yuletide stalls. You'll be able to really kind of walk in the footsteps of Martin Luther, but around Christmas time. This is where all that history centers around all of Martin Luther's courageous actions and everything he did, his teachings, the teachings of Martin Luther, the Augustinian monk who nailed his 95 thesis. So you probably have heard of that. And he nailed it to the door of All Saints Church. This is the castle church, if you will, here, and you'll actually be able to see this church, the castle church where this happened. So you'll be able to actually go into the church. It's of like a real Gothic type of look and feel, and see where Luther preached. It's amazing. So that is a part of the Elbe River. Wittenberg. We also go to Dresden, so you'll have the opportunity to go to Dresden here. So this is another historic German town, all the Yuletide traditions, and you'll go to the Striezel Market. It's the Striezel Market. My German's not very good there, but you can hear it if I said it right? And this is the oldest Christmas market. So that is so cool. The city actually celebrated its 585th anniversary in 2019. It's the world's oldest Christmas market. So you'll be able to see that, and of course, all the town highlights here in Dresden. And then the beautiful city of Prague. This is not it. We're still in Dresden, but check that out. Is that really cool? That is just absolutely stunning. It's actually a little bit more modern too. And then there's Prague. Look at Prague with the snow-capped mountains here. Prague is just a city that you cannot explain. It is a city you must go to. If you are on the Danube River, you have to go to Prague.
Yeah, and it's so much history here and culture. It's like the crossroads of culture, this city.
It is. It's what they say. It's like the Eastern Europe, Paris. It's also known as the City of Lights.
Yes. And music and there's so much.
Yes, classical music. We have so many different things for you to do and see here. You will have extra time here in Prague. And Christy, this is why I love this. As long as you're okay with, any river conditions that you may have to put up with, go in knowing that. But if you do this, of course, it's cold, right? Which we know, but it is just absolutely a stunning city. So what I love about this itinerary is you get Berlin on the front end or back, and Prague on the other end. There's also
Yep.
the Cities of Light itinerary, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But there's so much history in Prague. I mean, I don't have enough time to actually go through it all, but there's the astronomical clock.
Yes.
There's the famous Charles Bridge. This city just illuminates. Imagine it illuminating with Christmas markets. There's it's just
We
so
could
much.
spend a whole night talking just about Prague,
I
really.
know. And then there's the Prague Castle and Lobkowicz Palace. So there's just so much to see and do. But you'll often see this, even not during Christmas markets, the cookies, right? The big cookies, the heart cookies. You know, I'm sure you've seen the cookies that we're seeing to the right here during Oktoberfest. That's a big sign that everybody has the big cookies during Oktoberfest. So it's the same thing here. And it's just really just amazing. So I hope I'm giving you a good highlight here. This is what Christmas is like on board Viking, where we're doing really fun gingerbread house making. We're doing, look at that. Look at the contest. Of course, our chefs come out and help you. So don't worry. My colleague's gingerbread house was falling apart and the chef put it back together for him. And he had a fabulous gingerbread house. So this is the Rhine River that we were talking about, the Rhine Getaway, Amsterdam to Basel. That's a very popular Christmas itinerary. And you can see what I was talking about here on the map, where it's coming down and heading down into Switzerland. So you'll see Strasbourg is right there, kind of heading down into Switzerland. We also have the romantic Danube, that's Budapest to Regensburg. You can tack on the Nuremberg if you like, doing a full day in Nuremberg or a 2-day Nuremberg. Cities of Light, Paris to Prague. You still get that, that amazing, Danube River. You've got that awesome Prague experience. You go to Paris for an overnight. You'd likely be doing some of the Rhine. You'll have the Main and the Main Danube Canal. I'm having a brain moment there. You'll have the Danube Waltz as another opportunity, which is giving you Vienna as well. But you'll have Slovakia, Bratislava. If anybody is Slovakian, that's a good option for you. We have Paris to the Swiss Alps, which is Paris to Zurich, doing some time in Zurich. Really just the new Christmas along the Elbe, and that is the one that I really highlighted with, oh geez, so much fascinating Christmas experiences. So I know we're kind of creeping on time here, so I wanted to make sure, Christy, that we at least previewed the Viking Longship. I know, especially for those that maybe haven't been on Viking, that really kind of want to know what they're sailing on. This is the Viking Longship, 190 passengers here, folks. And we have all sorts of stateroom types. You'll see them in a moment. We do have 2-room suites. We have our beautiful Explorer suites, 2 of them on the back of the vessel, which is the biggest room. And then we have our French balconies and our regular veranda balconies. Again, all in that real Scandinavian style. I showed you the picture with the Christmas tree in the atrium, but this is some good depictions as well. Some of these pictures
You said something earlier, Shannon, that I really liked. You said no frou-frou. And I think that the funny thing about saying it that way is that, it's not a no frills look. It's the beautiful simplicity of Scandinavian design, but it also means that all your visual stimulation is coming from where you are. It's the destinations that become the rock stars. It's not about some overly ornate, ridiculously decorated ship, right? It's the ship becomes your window onto the world you're in. And I think that that's really the beautiful thing about this elegant Scandinavian design.
I may actually have to steal that, the window of the world you're in, because we often say the destination is always at the focal point, because you always have these floor to ceiling windows, but I really like that. Just remind me about that one. Send me that in an email, Christine.
Yes, I will.
So it's gorgeous though, right? And the lightness, I think that that's really important too. Who wants to be closed in with dark walls on a vessel, right? So you've got that light, bright space, very sleek and contemporary, but not over the top contemporary. The restaurant is where all of your meals will be taking place. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner here in the restaurant, but there's those floor to ceiling windows, red floor to ceiling windows. We have our lounge. This is my favorite place to be. And there's a lounge camera that you can watch from your stateroom. So if you want to see if anybody's still hanging out in the lounge and maybe singing some show tunes with the piano player, you can do that. And there's also a small dance floor here. This is where all that enrichment happens. The gingerbread house making, the Christmas quiz, the dance floor, all of that stuff is happening in this. But you can see those nice little intimate spaces. And I think that really goes a long way when you're traveling. And even on our ocean ships that are under 1,000 passengers, we have something called the living room. And that's, again,
I love the living room. Yeah.
Yes, and that's the point. And I think coming out of the pandemic we're in, Christy, I think that that's going to go a long way when you don't have, necessarily the big casinos and the big theaters, that it's a little bit more feeling like you're coming to the comfort of your own home.
It is, and they're spacious, and they're uncluttered and stuff. I mean, it really is welcoming. All those the public spaces on Viking ships they're beautiful.
Yeah, and the Aquavit Terrace is named after the Aquavit drink, which is a drink that's in Norway. And so being that Torstein Hagen is Norwegian, the Aquavit Terrace is named after this specialty drink that you can find on board Viking. Anyhow, this is all alfresco dining. So you have that alfresco dining option if you want. We also have these really great staterooms. Now, this is the standard stateroom. I have to be honest, this is the stateroom you take if you don't care where you sleep. You could sleep in a closet, not saying it's the size of a closet, but this is where that window is up top and you're never really going to be in the stateroom. My favorite, though, is for a middle of the line stateroom, the French balcony. I love the stateroom. And then, of course, there's always the veranda. I do get the veranda when I go, but I often don't find myself on it because I'm always hanging out either in the lounge or in the on deck. But this is the 2-room suites. It's a staple of Viking to have full 2-room suites, and it's got this great bathroom again, all
with the heated floor. Yeah.
Oh, I love the heated floor. So again, it's very luxurious, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
Honestly, a style that has become a very popular style these days. All my friends are redecorating their homes to look like this, to be honest.
It's true. It's often copied, right? I mean, it talk about having been trendsetters, right?
Exactly. So we have a lot of promotions going on right now. The one thing that I really want to let everybody know is we do have our risk-free policy.
Yes, please.
And that gives you the opportunity, if you make a booking, and this won't be around forever, my guess is that it's not going to be here in January. This risk-free policy is a policy where you can book with us today. You put a $500 deposit down per person. And after you do that, you secure your name. And by the way, all of our inventory is going fast. Our Mississippi for 2022 is already sold out.
I know. We were talking about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and there's the Mississippi holiday season too.
Yes.
So book now, and this is not a hard sell. It's just that you'll get underneath that policy. You'll get great pricing. You'll get canceled for up to any reason for up to 24 hours prior to departure. And other cruise lines and tour operators are only allowing that for, say, 2021 sailings.
Yeah.
We're allowing it for 2022. We're allowing it for 2023. So it's just a really good time to keep your wanderlust alive, get in while these policies are in place. They don't go away. You lock yourself in. And so that's kind of my little plug. And my other plug for anybody who's listening, maybe you're someone who has stumbled across Christy in social media. First and foremost, I absolutely think Christy is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
Secondly, I want to also say the value of using a travel advisor has always been, in my mind, so important. But even through this pandemic, I think it's really shown the world that you need somebody there advocating for you. You need somebody. You may know where you want to go. You may even know how to book it on your own, but having that person, like Christy knows, she can call me and I will fight for her and her clients. And that's kind of the difference. And they get to see, Christy gets the same exact pricing you're seeing on Viking. And
she's definitely part of that. You may not know what you don't know. And that's why you work with a professional, right? I mean, like you said, you might know what you want to do, but all the little nooks and crannies that you can get lost in, Don't wander in there yourself.
Like Prague is a great example. There's too many people that go on the Danube and they don't book Prague, and then they come back so upset because 75% of that ship went to Prague and they talked about it. That's another great example of it. And so I really just wanted to, say, Christy, of course, thank you for letting me talk tonight.
Thank
but
you.
Also, thank you for, all that you're doing. And I really wish all of us the best. And I'm happy to have folks like you, Christy, on my side to help us all keeping everybody's wanderlust alive and thirst for travel alive. So,
I really appreciate all of what you just said, of course. And I think that one of the most important things that the travel agent has always brought to the table is that advocacy for their client, whether it's in the planning stage or, when you have questions or when you come home, but when something goes pear-shaped, right? When something gets a little bent out of shape, which we've seen a lot of, unfortunately, this year. We've seen a lot of that in 2020. Having somebody to fight on your side for things like not just getting you a refund or a credit, but also making sure you're getting the best possible solution because they know what you don't know. If anybody has questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat box. There's already one waiting in there for us. And that's in relations to the promotion I have right on the screen. And a special thanks for all of you who have registered and participated in tonight's presentation. And if you've been on any of my other Viking calls, you'll know that I offer a little booking incentive. So we're not about making sure that you book a cruise tonight. That's not the way I do business. But I do want to encourage you, like Shannon says, to kind of take advantage of things that are happening right now and to work with a travel specialist. So I am offering for a qualifying Viking River cruise, doesn't even have to be one we talked about tonight, could be any Viking River cruise, a $250 discount from this agency for any travel in 20 or 21 or 22. You just need to reach out to me and give me a call. And the question in the box is actually a good question. And it says, it's a sweet deal, but I'm already booked.
Oh, I was answering that.
Can I rebook with you so I can get tonight's offer? And that's a two-part answer actually to that. And that's why Shannon's asked you a question back. Shirley, if you have booked within, 30 days? 60 days, thank you. If you booked direct with Viking within the last 60 days, you don't even have to go through any heavy duty lifting for me to happily take on your booking and include this offer. So by all means, Shirley, I'll reach out to you and we can talk about it to make sure that we're specifically dealing with your question in your specific situation. But even if you've booked it a while ago, I can look at your booking with, a fresh perspective, compare it to current offers and see what makes sense for you so that you're making sure that you'll get the best thing. See, that's that whole advocacy thing you get when you work with a travel agent.
And that's great, Shirley. I'm glad to hear that you just booked because we'll have no problem switching that over to Christy and then maybe we'll see what else we can do for you. But that's great. And thank you for attending the presentation. And that makes me feel really good that may happen for us tonight.
Yeah, no, that's great. We had one other gal leave early. She said she was going to reach out to me. She had another question. I guess she didn't know about the chat box. That's fine. But as we mentioned earlier, of course, if you have questions, I am just a phone call or an email away. My contact information is on the screen. I do encourage you, if you haven't already, to follow us on social media. We are kind of everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on my YouTube channel. And that is where you can find all the recordings. I think I'm up to 16 recordings of all our past events. This event will also be posted there by Monday. And so if you've seen anything tonight that you'd like to share with family and loved ones or friends, you can direct them there as well. We are also have our quarterly contest. I always encourage people to sign up because you have to be in it to win it. This quarter, we are giving away a luxury villa 3-night stay in Cabo San Lucas, which is wonderful. Mexico is open for travelers from the United States right now. And it is a stunning villa. It looks like your own private resort. It's so amazing. And it's perfect for a big family getaway where you'll still feel like you have the privacy and seclusion of the world, but still be able to enjoy this beautiful setting all to yourself. So do be in it to win it. Go onto my website at Escape Artist Holidays and enter the contest. Shannon, thank you again so very much for being here tonight, for supporting my business and giving my clients and the people out there another taste of what Viking has to offer. It's so wonderful that you can share this with us. Thank you.
Oh, great. I hope you liked the presentation.
I did. It was wonderful. And now I'm all like in the Christmas spirit. You were right. It worked. Normally I'm very humbuggy. And I am. I'm normally very much a humbug until like, the first week of December, but you've got my Christmas up. So that's pretty good.
I'm sure I did. Okay. Well, thanks everyone. And take care. Anything you need from us, you know where to find us. Have a great
Stay healthy, everybody.
and happy holidays.